Good evening, Razorback fans. Welcome to another episode of the Hawg Talk Podcast, live from the Stirling Soap and Roastery Studios, part of the Believe and Buzz Radio Network, where you can hear us each week on 106.7 The Buzz 2 in Central Arkansas. All live shows are coming to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I'm Porter Hayes. Alongside me is Adam Hall. On tonight's show, we'll discuss the baseball and softball struggles over the weekend, spring game coming up, and what is the level of excitement for the spring game. We'll talk about the Razorback Foundation being the sponsor of said spring game and how that ties into being able to contribute to NIL and more. But we'll start it off right now. Adam, spring game is coming on. And what is your excitement level on a scale of 1 to 10? 0 to 4, 5 to 7, or 8 to 10? Has anything in the recent weeks changed your mind about how excited you are about the spring game?
No. Not one bit, not one thing. As I've stated, I'll wait until the fall to make that assessment. I don't get hyped about spring games, period. Especially this one. I mean, I get that it's Coach Silverfield's first one at Arkansas, basically a new team. It's a scrimmage, it's glorified practice. It's they're gonna show us what they want to show us. So I don't expect much defense, which isn't saying much compared to last season, but I couldn't really care less about this game on Saturday.
Also, let's just go off of the stuff with the tickets. VIP tickets are $250. VIP tickets to the spring game, $250. And all of this is in part of Link U, and they're partnered with this is coming from Hawg Sports article. Link U has partnered with the Arkansas Athletics to help NIL opportunities. When a fan or booster donates to Link U, that money, along with corporate sponsorships, can go to NIL. However, with the Razorback Foundation being the title sponsor of the spring game in the coming day, athletes will be doing work to promote the event. So players are going to be promoting this event. So I guess in a way, this is a way to, we're going to charge $250 for the spring game, but does it change anybody's mind now knowing that, hey, instead of it going to the Razorback Foundation, is this a smoke screen to say we can give it to NIL and then it doesn't? Or is this a roundabout way of trying? They're actually trying to get money for NIL.
I mean, they can say all they want that they're going to do these things, but the question is, I mean, how will we get that answered? And even though they, make it seem like there's this loophole, nothing that Hunter Yurachek or any NIL collective prior to or now Link U, like, nobody has done anything to tell us otherwise, that they're going to do the right thing or they've found a way to do this, that, and the other. I don't believe anything that's put out about what they're doing, how they're doing it. I just look at this like it's a money grab, and here we go. Like, okay, so we can't get any records or proof of this, and say some way, shape, or form we get information on it, and say that money from this game doesn't go to these players. Are they going to even release a statement after that? Or are they just going to come out and say, oh, well, legally we couldn't get around it, even though we put it out there that there was this? I mean, there's just a number of things that I don't see happening.
Yeah. And it all goes to track record. It's the fact that they've been doing this from the get-go. I could see it. But it is, to me, it's like, is this a Hail Mary to get them to buy into this? Because they're saying, oh, we found a way to get NIL out of this. But when you have an athletic director that's not for NIL, it's hard for me to believe that this money's going to NIL. You could have been doing this with your raffle. You could have been doing other things. So it's hard for, I feel bad for Silverfield. I mean, he's coming into a situation to where he's got a long road ahead of him. And yes, I know what he did at Memphis, and I know what, but you got to realize there is a huge difference between playing one Super Bowl, two Super Bowl, playing up for two big time games a year, opposed to that's every game on your schedule. And it's easy to go into it if you have a good roster to win one. You put it this way, you're putting together a roster where you get two Power 4 wins a year. All right, what does that transition to at Arkansas when that is your schedule? Two Power 4 wins a year. There's a big gap in between Memphis and Arkansas when it comes to the schedule, when it comes to who you're playing on a year-to-year basis. I'm not talking about the program. I'm talking how hard it is to win 8 games at Memphis compared to how hard it is to win 8 games at Arkansas. So I don't want to get it twisted on what I'm meaning by that. Got a uphill climb. And when you're seeing things like this and you're seeing the staff, you're seeing the roster, I want to see what happens with this team, how hard they fight for him. How do they come together? Because I'm telling you, if they buy in, if they come together and play together as a team, we've seen teams with lesser talent get to 6-7 wins. So do they give up easy or do they fight for it? I mean, and it starts, I mean, yes, it is a glorified practice, but if I was in the position I was as the Razorbacks, I would really use this as a game, like prove to the fans and the team, like, look, this is what you're getting a little look forward to with us. We're ready to hit somebody. We're ready to play. I mean, it gives us something to look forward to August.
Yeah, and there will be some questions answered. I mean, I know kicking and special teams have been a question. I just can't fully expect to get a lot of things answered. And going back to what we said previously about when the season does get here, and like you just brought up this team's fight. I mean, it's something that we'll see. Does Ryan Silverfield have a good enough game plan, good enough buy-in from the team to put them in those positions, the one score, the close possession games, to be able to close them out and actually get on the winning? Because they're going to have to figure out that scenario essentially to get past 2 wins this coming season. So I fully believe what we have heard from various players, them buying into Coach Silverfield and one of the reasons they stayed or transferred in or whatever the case may be. So I don't doubt that the players are bought into it, but we just got to see if that's going to translate onto the field.
Yeah. And I think what it is you're trying to be hopeful. I know we have a reputation of being Debbie Downers when it comes to the football team. And I don't know, maybe if it's because of, the baseball team, how things are going, maybe that's affecting my perception of being hopeful because, we're seeing the baseball program letting us down and now you're looking forward to a 2-10 football season. Where's the excitement? Where is the want to? And part of it is, what if he proves us wrong? I don't know. But when you see other outlets saying he's going to turn this thing around year one, it's hard for me to believe that. We are talking about Arkansas here. I mean, you look at after last week's series against Bama, it's crazy Jekyll and Hyde of a baseball program. You go out and sweep Bama on the road, and then you just get destroyed. I had to, honestly, when I looked at that score, I had to look and make sure that the stat was right. The score was right. I thought it was the football score. I thought the stat broadcast was glitchy. So you segue that into the baseball team, and they're doing the same thing. It's like you get your hopes up for them, thinking they're going to turn things around, and then they lay an egg against Georgia. That's what the football team does. That's what a lot of our programs do outside of basketball. Yeah, they let us down in the postseason and the Sweet 16, but regular season, they're great. It's just going to take a lot of money and a lot of want to rebuild this football program.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And I hate it. I really wish they could get the money. I know they can. It's just, I don't have the confidence in the leadership to fundraise. I think, what fundraising are they doing? You've got your players out there trying to do a little bit of fundraising here or there for a spring game, and you're putting out their $250 VIP tickets, or you're trying to charge people $10 just to get in the game because they don't want to get spammed with emails. To me, that's kind of a stranglehold. And I know people are against it, or they're like, oh, why were you? Because it's the fact that it's something that was always free. Now you're wanting to say, well, you can get in for free, but we're going to spam you with emails and text. And it's like, it's not worth it. So people are like, I'll just pay the $10 because I don't want to get on top of everything else you get spammed with, hit another 4 or 5 emails in your inbox and 2 to 3 texts a week in there. Hey, you want to supply your tickets for, it's just ridiculous.
The spring game costing money thing just rubs me the wrong way to begin with.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. And at the same time, I think that anything that Hunter Yurachek does at this point, I mean, I think we're all in agreement. It's not to the benefit of the fans. It's the benefit of the bottom line of the athletic department. So I just wonder, when is enough enough? Whether that means when is enough for him to go, or when is enough for them to stop asking fans to put up their hard-earned money when they're not getting anything in return.
Yeah. And it's almost like, is this guy really writing out his contract? I mean, what did you say? It comes out in 27. That's his contract.
I think so, yeah.
So is it one of the things he's just trying to, like you've always said, resume builder? He's trying to build his resume for the next step. And he's in with this, the college football committee, which if they make a permanent deal, he's probably going to leave Arkansas for that permanent position anyway. So it's almost like he's just keeping that at arm's length, keeping that in the back burner, but he always knows that he has that to look forward to. It's almost like it's set up. Like, we're going to make this committee, we're going to make this a full-time position. Guess who's going to be the first one to call? And then he's going to leave Arkansas, which is fine. I just think what he's doing now, he's just skating by. Everything that he should be doing as an athletic director, either he's outsourcing, he has 3 people on his staff to do. And when you're cutting ties with other people to bring in these other people that are not Cofield and then the other GM or whatever, I really want to know what these people are doing to bring more money and bring more, because we're not seeing anything with the transfer portal. We're not seeing it with NIL. We're not seeing anything with the Link U, Remy, the other guy that was interviewed, the other GM of the football program. We see what they're saying, but what are they doing about it? That's what I want to see more of. Instead of hitting the fans up for $10, let's cut out one of these positions that are $500,000, $600,000 a year, and let's use that for NIL.
No, but then they'd find a way, like, oh, we can't give that money, or we'd have to allocate it somewhere else. I don't know. Hunter Yurachek is tone deaf, as we've all seen. He doesn't know how to read the room. I mean, if you're a Justin Moore fan, great. You get to go, I would hope for $250, though, that you'd maybe get a meet and greet with Justin Moore to go along with it.
I'm sure that, I mean, I don't know what that entails.
I don't know what all is included in it. And honestly, I would just like to talk to somebody that's going to pay the $250. Like, why do you want to give that money? I guess is, where my head goes.
It could be the thing. Hey, look, instead of it going to the foundation, we found a way for this to go to NIL. That's the only thing I can think of. Is I guarantee you, if this was just a straightforward Razorback Foundation deal, it'd be a hard sell as it is. So maybe my thought process is we're making it to where, okay, we're going to have the players do these. I don't even know. It's the week of, and we'll see what the players do to promote this. So are you going to get out there and have all these players do 2 or 3 posts a week? I mean, we want to see a lot of promoting for this. Yeah, it's a spring game. And what do they get for it? So the 250 could go to NIL, but we don't know.
Well, and we're going to start seeing posts this week of it. Like, aren't you doing that beforehand? It's 5 days before the game, and you want to start advertising it. Like,
we've seen the same thing with the raffle. I mean, we've seen them promote it here and there. online, they'll bring it up, and I don't know what the final tally was for the raffle, but
got it right here.
and hold on, let me check. I don't have the comments on me. Let me see. Has he said anything? Transplant? He's slacking tonight. Transplant texted slacking on the amount. It's $6,000. Okay, was the payout? Yeah. Oh, sorry, I hit it. We're playing. Yeah, $6,135. So I mean, good chunk of change for winner 99043. So it almost sounds like a prisoner won it. Winner number 9940635. Yeah. So
Hunter, I don't remember what his was. I want to say it was around 1 to 1.5.
Say.
But I mean, he got a raise, or an extension, or raise, or whatever. I want to say sometime between 21 and 23.
1.5 million.
That's what I thought it was.
So what that was is Hunter, he got an annual salary as 1.5, which began on January 1 of 23, and includes base amount and performance-based incentives. So he could get an additional $250,000 annually in deferred compensation after 28, January 1 of 28. So that would increase his total to 1.75 million a year. I would love to know what these performance-based incentives are, and how he's justifying that he gets it.
I mean, because that's why he wants all these SEC championships in the other sports.
Yeah, I get it.
So as long as these teams are making, like, men's basketball making the NCAA tournament. Obviously, Arkansas football didn't make a bowl game. It's one of those, the coaches get bonuses with it. I'm sure that's mixed into his too.
Yeah. But to me, if I was gauging it off of where's the revenue coming in, where's your revenue? If you're a revenue-based sport, your big money maker is football, and you're failing in that sport and you're failing to compete, you sent your coach on, which we'll talk about him in a second. You pretty much said we hadn't set him up for success. So if you can't raise the funds for your main program, why do you get a raise? Why do you get $250,000 bonus for being a borderline mid athletic director? And when I say borderline, you're underneath mid. You're almost mid. But I guess a lot of it has to do with your success. But I'm telling you right now, with the way this baseball program's looking, and you're not having the stars that you used to, if other teams and programs are catching up to your baseball program, and now you're going to start faltering, you're going to start being a middle tier SEC program, and you're watching other teams pass you by. It's almost like a warning of what I'm fearful of what we're seeing with this baseball program. Was last year the great last year that Arkansas is ever going to have? Will Arkansas ever get to another College World Series? We don't know. But I'm telling you, if they don't, and they start going downhill along with your football program, we've said it before, all you got is basketball. So let's just settle on being a basketball school, put all our money into that, and be another Kentucky.
And I heard it this morning on Chuck and Bo too. They were discussing kind of that. And just the comment that stuck with me this morning as I was going into work, it was, unless you're Kentucky in the SEC, you're a football school. And it was just cut and dry, point blank, period. And I see where they're coming from, because football is king, and that's where you're all the revenue. Like, I get it. But at the same time, when you've had as bad of a decade plus that Arkansas has had, sorry, we don't want to be a football school.
But is Arkansas a football school, though?
I mean, according to Chuck Barrett, every SEC school outside of Kentucky is a football school. So that's he was just point blank with it. That's what he says. So
that's hard for me to believe when you've had the run that you've had in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to believe that you look at if you want to be honest, Arkansas is a track and field school. And this is no knock at anything. Arkansas is a track and field school. You have 50 plus national championships in track and field. You are a track and field school. That's where you're getting your national championships from. That is what is Arkansas known for, track and field. And then if you want to ask right now in the last 5 years, what is Arkansas known for? They're going to go basketball because of Eric Musselman and Calipari. So if you want to be, technical, if you want to go off the big three, you're a basketball school right now. Then a baseball school, then football. You're not a football school. You can't sit there and say in the last 10 years you've had subpar performance and say you're a football school. You're not a football school. I know fans want to believe they, but you're not a football school. You're the worst program in the SEC right now. How can you be considered a football school if you're the worst in your conference at that sport? I get where they're trying to sunshine pump. That's what they want to do. We got people saying, and I try to be nice, and then I hear things like that, and it just it gets me right back on my soapbox of you're not a football school.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we've talked about this here recently, that after DVH retires, after Cal retires, we all kind of think that's going to be within the next 4 to 5 years. If Arkansas football doesn't figure it out to even be able to compete with, getting back to bowl games regularly, it's going to be tough after Dave Van Horn and John Calipari leave Arkansas. Well, and I'm not saying that Arkansas baseball will be in a bad spot, because I believe that they can, historically, with the players that have come through here, the players that go to the MLB from here, it's kind of they'll put somebody in place to try to keep that going. But losing them to, you're going to potentially have a fall off, and if football can't figure something out, you're going to be hurting in a bad way with all, your big three sports being down.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, it's also like with the baseball, you've done what you've done, but we've seen how quickly things can change. You made it to Omaha last year. And listen, when I talk about the baseball program, I'm not saying this year or next year. I'm looking 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Where are we going to be at as a whole 5 years from now? I don't want to be on here in 5 years and we're looking around at nothing. Cal's gone. Dave Van Horn's gone. We don't know where our football program is going to be at. It's almost like I'm not giving up on Dave Van Horn. I don't care. Honestly, Arkansas can miss the regionals for the next 3 years. Dave Van Horn has done enough at Arkansas. I don't care if he's not won it all. He has done enough at Arkansas. He can ride out on his own terms. He has given Arkansas baseball success, one pop fly away from a national championship. You cannot take that away from him because of you can't do that. I'm sorry. I might be on the wrong side of the fence on that argument, but the kid catches the pop fly. He's a national champion. You're that close. He gets to go out on his own terms. I don't care what he finishes this year. But I'm saying we need to get ready for when the time comes when he's no longer here. How soon is that going to be? What if he has a year like this and next year and he is tired of it and he walks away after next season? He's a grandpa now. He's got other things to be looking at, and those are factors. We thought he could possibly be gone a few years back, and he surprised us with an Omaha run last year. But we really have to start looking. We can't take things for granted, and you've brought it up. How long is Cal going to be here? How long is he going to take if he doesn't make a Final Four or a national championship game? He keeps on bringing in the best players to Arkansas and getting them to the NBA, but yet doesn't make a Final Four or a national championship. How much of that more is he going to take from the fan base if that's not enough for them? Mm-hmm. And then we're left without Van Horn and Cal, and you're stuck with your football school. Let's see how far Arkansas gets in reality of if you are a football school.
Well, Dave Van Horn has definitely done enough to. He says when it's time to go. So the folks that come out after a series loss or a bad game or whatever, that it's he needs to be fired or he needs to go ahead and go or he needs to this or he needs to that. No, he gets to decide that. And I just go back to comments that were made when Sam Pittman was still here. You know, it was the fire Sam Pittman. And my question back to folks is, who are you going to get?
Yeah.
You know, and with baseball, it's kind of like, okay, are you going to just fill the void with one of the other coaches that, oh yeah, you're also calling for him to be fired after games? Like, come on. I mean, obviously, I still think that at some point Tony V will be back in the SEC.
That's my only that's the only argument. That would be the only thing right there would be Tony V.
But I think it's going to take 2, 3, 4 years of him failing in the MLB for him to come back to the SEC. But I think that was his easiest way out of Tennessee was, hey, I'm going to go to the MLB. And if it doesn't work, then I can go to another SEC team. And there's not really bad blood there because I didn't jump ship to another SEC school immediately.
And I think if it was Arkansas, I think Tennessee fans, it would suck. They would be pissed. But I think if it was any other school, they would not understand. But Arkansas would be, okay, you're following Dave Van Horn's footsteps. We can understand why you're going that route. We can understand what you're doing there. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's going to feed a rivalry where, oh, you went to the enemy, blah, blah. You won a national championship in Tennessee. Why are you going to Arkansas when you won with us? I mean, there are going to be those talks. But the fact of, that if Arkansas starts declining baseball, they are going to go after, and they might already be talking to him. I don't know. And I don't even know if that's a fair statement to be even approaching that, getting that in the atmosphere, whatever, that the fact that we're already looking for Dave Van Horn's exit. There was a guy on social media talking about when do we need to start talking about Dave Van Horn's exit. We don't get that option. I'm sorry. And now I'll say this. Let's go Andrew Ellis inside Arkansas. Let's go Matt Jones. Let's go Kevin Bohannon. I'm naming people that I know offhand that have covered the baseball team immensely. They have the right to be like, okay, I think it's time for him to go, or is he on the outs? Because they've been covering. They know that team inside and out. So if they're talking about that, they have valid concerns or they know knowledge of its time. They wouldn't just throw things out there off of if you start seeing them have questions, then it's time. That's so when I was telling you about Andrew Ellis, when he was having concerns about the baseball program, it made me go, whoa. If he of all people, Kevin Bohannon and him both, I hold true to where their word about the baseball program. If they're having concerns, I listen. Anybody else, I'm just like, eh. But outside of those three, let's go Matt Jones. I'll even throw Hutch in there. Hutch is a big guy with the baseball team and does stats in his spreadsheet. So Matt Jones, Hutch, Andrew Ellis, and Kevin Bohannon. Those are the four guys that when they speak, I listen when it comes to the baseball program.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean, there's going to be grumblings until I just look at I get that Pittman or Dave Van Horn is getting up there. He's grandpa now. He's got other stuff. I just can't see him, walking away with a bad taste in his mouth.
He is not going to walk away until he knows 100%. I can't give it my all anymore. That's where it's going to be. If he goes out and goes 12-42 in a baseball season, but he still feels like next year he can bring it, he's going to come back. When he goes out, it's going to be on his own terms. And when he feels, and I'm sorry for those casual fair weather fans, those fans that haven't been around that long, get over it because he's done enough to deserve that. If Cal was to be here for 10 years and get us to 2 Final Fours, you make a national championship, but you never win it. But if Cal's done enough at Kentucky and now Arkansas, he's bringing in top players. What the results are, we can't handle that sometimes. But he gets to decide on when he leaves the program. Because what was Arkansas basketball? The moment Eric Musselman left, everybody was off the team, and we didn't know who our coach was. Here comes in John Calipari. Look what he's bringing in, top talent every single year. Yeah, we've made us 2 Sweet 16s, and I've even said we can compare him to Eric Musselman. We can because the results. He's got to get to Elite Eight or Final Four, but he still gets to decide on when he leaves this program, because I don't think that he's going to start turning in talent that we're not going to make tournaments or we're going to miss the NCAA tournament, which Eric Musselman did.
So, a lot to be decided in the next several years.
Yes. Well, we'll carry on the conversation. We're going to take a quick break, and after the break, we'll talk about the baseball series, softball series against OU, Arkansas's baseball debacle against Georgia in Game 3, and we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Searching for premium brewery products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Stirling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.stirlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Stirling Soap Company. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South 1st Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials is sure to have everything you need. Whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck, plus our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Mentor's Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together. Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than ATU Ozark Campus. As a 2-year satellite campus of Arkansas Tech University, we're dedicated to a quality workforce education, industry partnerships for in-demand jobs, and tailored paths for success. Our programs are led by industry professionals. Whether it's a certificate or you're aiming for a graduate degree, ATU Ozark has you covered. Visit our website at www.atu.edu/Ozark or contact us at 479-667-2117. Your future begins here. Welcome to Ozark Area Chamber of Commerce, where our mission is simple: encourage, promote, and aid an enduring environment of shared economic opportunity and civic development for the Ozark, Arkansas area. Whether you're a local business owner or a resident, we've got something for you. Shop our unique local businesses, explore the beauty of Ozark, and savor local flavors and find cozy accommodations. Join us in building a stronger community. And to learn more, contact us at 479-667-2525. Remember, together we thrive. And welcome back to the Hawg Talk podcast. Over the weekend, Arkansas started off their series, both baseball and softball, getting a win. Arkansas won over OU 3-2 in game 2, but OU turned around and showed everybody why they are the true number 1 team in the country. I know there was a poll that come out saying Nebraska was ahead of OU, but I mean, OU come back 1-11-1, run ruled them in 5 innings. Dakota Kennedy did suffer an injury in the series. I have nothing on the update yet. They were waiting to see the doctor, but it didn't look great. But whatever the outcome, hope that she has a speedy recovery, because she was a much needed force to that OU or Arkansas softball team. But losing, I mean, they were really close to winning this series. They gave up a grand slam in game 1. So Arkansas, yes, they had the debacle in game 3, but playing the number 1 team in the country, I mean, 8-7, losing 8-7 in game 1, winning 3-2. Yes, gave up 11 runs in the third game. It's a hard pill to swallow, but Courtney Doufel finally gets her first win over Patty Gasso in Norman, mind you. So, and we know how everything goes. I mean, OU's, they've earned the respect, and we can be salty about it, but they're that team that gets the Women's College World Series 30 minutes from their campus, then regionals and super regionals. So yeah, we're being pettybacks right now.
It was. I look at it like the game 2 win was kind of like step 1 in this process of getting over the hump for Courtney Deifel, I feel like. So you ended their, I think, 31 game home winning streak. You got your first win. I think you told me that she was 0-10 against OU at that point in time. So it's putting these little pieces together. It may, if we see OU again, whether it's SEC tournament or in the national tournament, whatever, I kind of look at it like that she's laying the groundwork to get over the hump and defeat Oklahoma. And obviously, just like with, I brought this up during March Madness. If somebody wants to do us all a favor and knock them off before we have to play them again, by all means, do it.
Yeah.
Because we'll take anything we can get. But no, I feel like that Courtney Deifel is one of the few coaches that see the issues from past seasons, especially like the past season, and hey, this offseason I address that issue and we get better the following season. So I feel like she does that better than most. And now we just go back to something that you and I have talked about multiple times. Give softball some money. Yep. You have the coach, give her the money, because that'll help fix a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is about this is Alyssa Parker right across the border in Pensacola, Oklahoma. There was a good chance that Arkansas was going after her. I mean, yes, she's an Oklahoma kid, but just think if you were able to swing her to help Robin Heron, because when I said, Arkansas's they've got a good rotation, but I think you just need that one lockdown, because you look at this situation. Robin Heron in the game 1 got rocked for 4 earned runs. It's one of those, and then Sailor Timmerman comes in and gives up 2 runs. Alyssa Parker comes in and she shut down Arkansas twice. It's just one of those. Oklahoma Player of the Year. She could have come to Arkansas and pitched, and you're looking at someone like that could be a difference. Did NIL have a part in that? We don't know. I haven't talked to anybody close to the situation, but it's one of those situations where could a little bit more money gotten someone like Alyssa Parker to come to Arkansas and help out Robin. But also to that point, did Courtney Deifel see her rotation, which she has with Timmerman and Reese, Robin, and Burnham, that she is happy with her rotation? We don't know. There's always going to be what ifs when it comes to you're seeing what I always, there was 3 or 4 pitchers come out of Arkansas and Oklahoma in the area, Valley, Pensacola. I'll bring a listen to it because right across the border in Pensacola. But there was a girl out of Lincoln that she's at Mississippi State now. There's one out of Hackett that's at Tulsa now. You're wondering if some of these could have been a vital piece to Arkansas to give some more depth, but we never know. Cam Harrison's another one. But when you're facing the juggernaut of OU, they'll make any pitching staff look kind of minuscule sometimes because they're just that good. I mean, their Wells just broke or tied the SEC record in home runs. I've talked about my case with wanting to scoot the fences back and with the bats and the balls and hitting on a little league field. And I got into a back and forth with some of these OU fans because they're talking about the SEC tournament being played in a baseball field, and they were just beside themselves. How dare they put a women's sports on a men's field? I'm like, the fact that they're willing to do something to promote the game and grow it, I don't understand the backlash or why people are complaining. I mean, you look at gymnastics going from Barnhill Arena to playing. And this is an argument I brought up to some of these people. It was hilarious. The fact that I said, you went from all your meets being at Barnhill Arena, 9,000 people, to all your home meets going to Bud Walton Arena, 19-2, and selling out. Oh, that doesn't matter. They don't want to see the good. They want to gripe and complain about the bad. And I'm just like, you're growing the game by putting this. Yes, you did it to where you're rotating at these SEC campuses, but now you're going it to this place of the Rock City Trash Pandas. They're minor league baseball.
Yeah.
And they are not, and that's another thing, Adam. They were retrofitting this to make it be a legit softball field. They're not throwing up an orange plastic fence and being like, oh, that'll do. They're doing the infield like it should be done. And I think it's amazing for the sport. I love to see it grow. I love to see all the home meets at Arkansas for gymnastics this close from making the Final Four in nationals. Yeah. And that program is just starting to skyrocket. But every home meet's in Bud Walton Arena.
Well, there's
only few gymnastic programs that can say that.
Getting mad about them putting a softball game in a baseball stadium, I'm like, I guess my head goes to, hey, guess what? They're still going to put makeshift walls up to have, so it's not 300, 400 feet like it is in baseball or whatever. I'm looking at this also from, I guess, the Hunter Yurachek side of things, that, hey, we get to sell more tickets, which brings in more revenue. So it's kind of like, it's almost the same thing that we see in March Madness, Final Four, National Championship. You put a basketball game in a football arena or a football stadium. Savannah Bananas games. Hey, we're doing all these games in all these, baseball stadiums.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to go do it in Neyland, or we're going to go do it in some of these, 75 to 100,000 seat arenas and stadiums.
They played the first one at Clemson at their 81,000 stadium.
Because
old school people don't want change.
Oh, and I get that. And who was it? Was it Nebraska or Wisconsin? One of
volleyball?
The volleyball thing. They had
91,000 people at their volleyball.
Yes. Like, dude, they're like, that right there shows that you're growing the game. Yeah. So this whole, I look at it like, the baseball purists that hate the slightest changes, whether it's a uniform or this, that, and the other. They're growing the game, and embrace it, accept it. And Trans Mountain Texan, I don't believe women's basketball has next to no NIL. That was put out there whenever the coaching search.
Softball and some of the other women's programs get stuff from, and I don't know if they still get a lot. I don't know. Their time ago, Everett had a See Her Greatness initiative. And I know that they were funding some of the women's programs. Now, I think it was an all the women's programs. So I don't know how much they were able to give a lot of the players. Because if you have one dealership or a group of dealerships giving to every single women's athlete, I'm sure it's not as much as you would like. I know for a fact that women's basketball was getting nothing. Your golf team is getting nothing. Your track and field program, your swimming team's not getting anything. The biggest NIL right now would have to be your softball program. And then maybe soccer. I don't know. I couldn't give you specifics. I know the softball right now is by far the leading in the NIL game in Arkansas, and rightfully so. But it is what led to the debacle of the women's Razorback program, because when you look back at Chelsea Dungy, what she did at Arkansas, she was there pre-NIL. If this was NIL, she would have went somewhere else. I have a feeling for that. Amber Ramirez would have went somewhere else. There's a lot that went on with that program. Yes, there was a lot of locker room stuff, but there was a lot of stuff going on about people getting bags at other schools and having they were getting hit up while they were Arkansas to come to other programs while they were at Arkansas. And that started causing a lot of divide. So, and it was hard because, you know, when I look back at the situation when it started falling to seeing where it is now and the position we were in with how close we were to Coach Neighbors and the program and watching it fall, and you're like, we can't stand, we know that they're not winning because players are going to other schools. And it's sad because you didn't want it to happen. And especially when you have a friendship with the coach and you see the inside of it, but there's a lot of people who don't see that side of it. And now we're seeing it. We're seeing another coach come in and they're going to have the same results because they're not. You look at the roster that they're getting. One of your players averaged 0.6 points a game in a Division I Power 4 school. Okay. And this is no knock against the people coming into Arkansas. They're getting what they are able to afford. And I hate that for Coach Music. I hate that for the program because I want to see all women's programs. And that's what, honestly, guys, what me and Adam, we kind of came together because we both enjoyed the women's programs. When I decided to bring Adam on to co-host this, it was because we had the same interests in the women's programs. We covered them. We had exclusive interviews with all the coaches and the players. And yes, like, you know, we can rehash, but yet all, you know, what happened to the end of all that. But at one time, we were one of the few people that were covering it on a regular basis. That came to an end, unfortunately. But we want to see all the women's programs. We had a special show that was the weekly women's sports report where we were having players and coaches and talking to everyone. We wanted to see them happen. But when you look at now, when you look at Coach Neighbors and everybody says you're always good as your next hire. He's working in his second job in the WNBA. He went to the Sparks. Now he's with the Wings. He's a great coach. He just didn't have the support. I can't say too much into it because I don't want to raise any flags. I don't want to raise any concern that I'm not at liberty to say, but you know, there's going to be a time where there's going to be a program that is prominent that's not going to be prominent anymore because of that NIL support. And we're going to be left wondering what happened. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the next women's basketball program when we look back at what it was and where it is in a few years. If they don't get to a certain level, we're going to wish they did.
1,000%. And, you know, that was one thing that, you know, I do agree when we started this. And when I say started this, I mean me coming on and growing. That was one thing that, like, we both enjoyed. It was like, hey, we had one show every week dedicated to women, Arkansas women's sports. And things happen, whatever the case may be. But, you know, ever since, honestly, when it was
23.
When Chelsea, well, no, I was going to say that for Arkansas's kind of down, or Arkansas basketball's women's basketball downfall was, you know, COVID. Because they were slated to make a run in that tournament and it got taken away. And then we introduced NIL and other things and everything changed. The landscape changed.
You went from Arkansas basketball that year of COVID. You went from, you should have hosted, you were a 4 seed that year. You would have hosted Wright State instead of playing them in a neutral site. And I'm telling you, making no excuses for them, but the conditions, I don't know if people remember the conditions of the workout equipment being stuck in a hotel. Like they couldn't leave their hotel room. You know, there was circumstances to that tournament to where, yes, as a whole, you can see where this thing just fell apart, but they weren't allowed to go anywhere. And then the workout equipment, they were given a couple of dumbbells. I mean, it made national news, the what they had compared to the men's tournament, what they had to the women's tournament. We were just now starting to get to the point to where people were paying more attention to the women's game as the men's. So you can't, and that was, I want to say that was post Chelsea. I think that was just straight up. That was Amber and Michaela Daniels and them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's That's when we started seeing all the makeshift practices, makeshift courts in hotel ballrooms and what.
I take it back. No, it was Chelsea was there because she was part of the team when they beat UConn during the COVID year. So she was there. I was at because that was
when everything got shut down though, is when
Yeah.
they didn't get to have a tournament.
No, they did. It was in a neutral site. They didn't. Okay, hold on. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the year they didn't have the SEC tournament. But I want to say
everything got shut down during conference tournaments.
Yes. So it was the following year. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
When all that stuff came out the following year of all the makeshift stuff and restrictions and everything. But I just looked at that year that we didn't have a national tournament, that everything got shut down. Like Arkansas was slated that season, women's basketball wise, to make a run. And everything has just kind of like downgraded since then.
Yes. Let me go back and I want to go back to that game, 22-15. I'm wanting to go back to the year where they played UConn, because that was the year where, I mean, it was weird watching it because after the game, it was 21-22. So let's go 21-22 roster. Yeah, Chelsea wasn't on the team, so it was the year after. So that's when you had Sailor and Samara the year after that, when you made it to the tournament, but you didn't have Chelsea Dungy that year.
And transplanted. I feel like with Link U and Hunter and generating anything for sports outside of football, that's the bad thing. I don't know if I want to call it a bad thing, but I feel like in the eyes of a lot of ADs and others, let's raise as much money as we can for football because they raise the most revenue for the entire athletic department. So they're going to do whatever they can to make funds more available for football in hopes that raises the overall revenue to be able to give players more money from like rev share and things like that. I don't necessarily agree with it. I just feel like that's where their mind is we have to take care of who generates the most revenue.
Well, yes, and that's the thing. It's we're upset because the results aren't coming with what's going into the football program. We know who the moneymaker is. We know even if Arkansas goes to 2-10, they're going to sell out the stadium. They're going to generate more money. And what Arkansas football program generates is able to fund other programs. So that's what gets us upset, is you really have one program that you have to worry about. You have one program that you have to fundraise for. Baseball program set with the Hunts. Basketball program is set with John Tyson. All you have to do is fund for your football program. That's your biggest revenue maker. You still, again, unless they're going to shock us game one or right before the season of the new stadium name or whatever, we haven't heard anything from that. We're still waiting on this announcement that they were supposed to make during the college basketball tournament. There's a lot of things that are being said that aren't coming to fruition that raises questions. And all you've got one job, raise money for the football program. And when you can't do that, that is where week after week after week, we're like, what the hell are we doing? You got one job, get money for your football program in a state where you have no other competition. Imagine being in sales and you have no competition and you still can't sell. Mute monsters got you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My doorbell rang because DoorDash got here. So shout out to DoorDash.
I'll get it. I don't want the sign. I don't want the I'm hungry sign.
Shout out to DoorDash and Slim Chickens for my dinner tonight.
There we go.
But no, it's the $1 million question and whatever is what are y'all doing with the money? What are you actually doing to raise the money? Because we don't know. And I'm tired of us wondering, because we're not seeing any results when it comes to the players that we're getting coming. And that's no shot at the players that we do get to come here. That's just seeing what everybody else is getting that we know has the funds to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because Adam, and it's what we've kind of been leaning on the last month or so, of where you look at all of the content creators in Arkansas, they're trying to lean on something, but when you're so used to being spoiled by the good basketball program, then I mean, baseball program gets to Omaha, man. We only got to talk really about nothing from July till August or June till August. But when you look at what's happening and you know already looming on the football season, and you're seeing the baseball program might get a regional, are they going to make a super? So you're trying to hold hopes up with this baseball program to try to keep people interested enough to get through the Utah week of football, because it's going to be just like last year. After that Notre Dame game, everything went out the window.
100%.
Everything went out the window. What game? And that we could discuss that on Thursday. At what game will it be where the fans give up on the season? And I hate to say that year one, but at what point, what game is people going to stop holding out hope for the football program?
And I'll say this: if you want to get a little money grab, if you will, hey, 100-year check. This is directly for you. Saturday for the spring game, why not start announcing, hey, we're going to unveil the new stadium name at the spring game for Razorback Stadium. If you truly have something in place, why would you not, use the spring game as your announcement or the new name sponsor of Razorback Stadium? But that tells me that you don't have one.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either. But in the realm of marketing or whatever else, I'd be using the spring game as, hey, we're going to unveil this to get butts in the seats. Why not?
Yeah.
You've tried everything else. Why not try that?
Yeah. And that's just the thing. That's where people lose more faith, is because they don't believe anything that's being said. You're talking about what is coming, but yet we're not seeing anything at all. So, but anyways, Adam, you made the shameless plug to DoorDash. That does not sponsor the show, but I know you're getting close to that slim chicken. So I know you ain't got anything else to add to the show, so I'm not going to ask you, hey, you got anything else, man? But everybody, want to thank everybody for tuning in. I mean, it's weird. We talk about Adam, and I heard through rumblings through the grapevine that didn't have a show last night because of Brock Lesnar. Now we're cutting the show short tonight because of DoorDash. And it's
Monday Night Raw did start 7 minutes ago.
7 minutes ago. So got to get him, got to bust his balls every now and then. But all right, everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight. We'll come back to you Thursday at 6:05. Be thinking of that. How long are you going to hold out hopes for this football program? What game is it going to be? Is it going to be Utah? Which game? We'll talk about it Thursday night.
NFL draft pre-show.
Yes, NFL draft pre-show. So we'll have NFL draft pre-show. Where will Taylor Green get drafted as wide receiver? Just kidding. And what game are you holding out hope for? Well, that will do it for this episode. We will catch you on Thursday.